You are now entering Maximum Driftcast, the only drifting podcast hosted by a Spanish soccer mom, a 30-year-old silver-haired fox going on 60, and finally, a 200-pound bowl of spaghetti with chimichanga arms.
The champions, we are the champions.
Can I get a little more snare in my cans? Yo. Let me get cool. All right, great. Welcome back to the Maximum Motherfucking Driftcast.
Wow. Sam, do you know what I was going to tell you before you started your intro?
Yeah, what's up?
I was going to say you do have a nice pair of cans, actually. So it's funny that you didn't have enough snare in them because they're pretty freaking nice, dude.
That's an industry term for headed
Oh,
phones.
I thought you were talking about your breasticles.
Corey. Oh, man, this is just a little taste of what the offseason's going to be like.
Oh, my God.
And because that's what's up. We're in the offseason right now. We had the most exciting, arguably, Irwindale event that has ever taken place at Irwindale, which we're going to get all deep into, as well as the rest of the season.
How deep, Sam?
I'm talking about the deep end, like deeper than the pool at your friend's house that you wouldn't go in after you watched Jaws at too young of an age.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So
when
like
you're
very
afraid of the
deep.
deep end.
So like balls deep?
Like at least or more, I would
All
say.
right. Like big balls deep.
Yeah. We're going to go into that stuff. We're going to talk about some upcoming drift. We already got news on 2019. Is that what next year is? Yep. We got some stuff
Yep.
about that. We got some Sema stuff we're going to talk about. We're going to do a lot of this with our main man, Jared, but he had to do some last minute back out maneuvers, and that's all good. We'll talk to him soon. But man, before we go into Irwindale, there's so many things to discuss here, and this is the off season, man. We've done this before. We don't have breaking, at least American drift event news for a little while, but we always manage. There's going to be conversations with lots of people in the biz, and there's always news and exciting leaks and stuff. So the show ain't going anywhere. We'll be satiating all of your drifting desires for the off season.
Yes, right.
What's up with y'all? Y'all doing stuff? You good? We weren't here last week because we were all too crazy after Irwindale.
Mm-hmm.
I was on 16 different shoots.
We had
What's up?
like a Formula Drift high that we couldn't come down from, and we're finally coming down, and we're about to hit like rock bottom. Like the withdrawals are pretty much starting to peak.
I'm there, baby. I'm already rock bottom. Feels bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I feel
But
like.
we brought her out real good. It was, as many people have stated, the craziest event they have ever seen. It was a banana sandwich because the intended and actual winner, Jimmy D, almost lost it, and then a bunch of other weird shit happened.
It was intense. It was one of the most intense final rounds I've ever witnessed.
We
If
thanks
not
to
the most.
Thanks to the track and FD, we kind of commandeered one of the press boxes upstairs, and a couple of our buddies were up there. And there's a lot of screaming because it was a wild ride. Because I was, of course, and we even said it to Jimmy D when we were talking to him on the show just before the event. You know, he's a humble guy. He wouldn't really admit straight up that he's like, yeah, I'm going to win this championship. And we're all like, I'm always like, James, you've had this thing in the bag for 3 rounds, my dude. Don't worry about it. You got this. And he's like, no, there's still... Oh, let me do my accent. Or Paco, you better do it. Paco, let me hear a James Dean accent.
Yeah, I'm very good at drifting.
No, that's not what he says though. He was saying like, there's still a lot of chances for other people to win.
I have. He says.
He sounded like a vampire.
I have no words. I literally have no words.
It just sounds like James Dean got hit in the head with a bat a couple times before his interview.
That's my James Dean impression. But he's really humble, and he was just like, yeah, it's still anyone's game, and we're like, no way, man, there's no way it's anyone's game. And then a freak series of events happened, and he almost lost it. But before he almost lost it, he did a 99-point qualifying run. Do you think the judges, our judge bros, will ever do 100 points again? I think Tanner Faust was the last one to get one. Will they ever do another hundo?
I think they would. Maybe. It's just, where's that 1 point at? That's what I tried
Yeah, I
figuring out.
forgot to-
Where is that 1 point?
I forgot to ask. I wanted to ask him after the halftime show. Like, where was the 1 point? Where did we?
Brian told me, I think he was slightly off, and just like very slightly off on one of the clipping points, but that was it. Like
And
if he had like packed it, like like fully sealed and vacuumed, it'll be like a perfect 100.
And then brother Peter, I'm actually watching a bit of our halftime show right now on YouTube as I look for battles from there. His brother Peter then did a 100-point buy run.
Yeah.
See, like that was crazy. Honestly, like I mean, I wonder if there was a way we can get the judges to score his buy run.
We should get Lantain on to do a review of it.
Yeah, because that was fucking the most insane. Like seeing Corey's top 33.
Oh boy.
Run at Irwindale. I think I haven't seen a more beastly buy run or single run at Irwindale.
I did walk up to Lantain afterwards and ask him how he would have judged that run. He said it would have been almost near 100. So it could have been a 99 or 100. He was like, that was probably doesn't get much better than that.
So the boys, spoiler alert, James Dean still got the championship.
Whoa.
Yeah, but he qualified first, Peter second, going off to a mighty start from the team Wordhouse. And I don't think there was we mentioned all the top 32 battles, so are really important in the halftime show. It was crazy seeing Field go out early. I think he was having problems. JTP and Castro was pretty nuts. Those two were going hard, and then Castro did prevail. I'm looking at the bracket right now. Forsberg ended. It's so weird. And Chris will be the first one to admit this too. Is like his season looked and felt like, at least from my perspective, like one of the worst seasons he's ever had because
catastrophic.
He changed his motor like 16 times. That's an exaggeration, but no joke. With that exaggerating, I think it was like 8.
I think it was said 8.
I don't know. Yeah. And it just felt like a disaster of a season, but he still came away with fourth, which is pretty insane. His car.
That's like that's 100%. That's a testimony of how good he and his team are. Like everybody can hate whatever they want, but with all the
they can't. You can't hate anything. Good vibes only, my dude.
Yeah,
bro.
Well,
bro, man.
Yeah, but still, like compared to, for example, other guys behind Forsberg who basically they didn't have mechanical issues and they were driving solid all year. I mean, and they still, I think a fourth is a very solid place for a failing mechanical. Because I think it's just mechanical. I mean, that's one of the other things. His team is on point.
Yeah, I think everything about the car was finally right, minus the motor, which, as we've already discussed on the MD discussion board and elsewhere, what should Forsberg put in? Everyone seems to think of VR. The GTR motor should go in there. Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. I'm sure he'll do some
SR20.
SR20. He also,
he said he'll go SR20 before doing an LS.
Yeah. I mean, you could make some horsepower to those, maybe. I mean, the nice part about them is that they're simple. Is just if you built like a billet block and just the most beefed out everything, I bet that it could be a reliable package. But unlike Corey's package, which is
not very reliable.
Yeah, sometimes
pretty sweaty and
it's stinky,
soggy.
Yeah.
Well, it's reliably stinky.
Yeah.
And just is.
They call it the full package, the full stinky package. And FedEx won't even ship it, Sam.
Really?
Yeah. They shut me down 3 or 4 times when I tried delivering it.
That's bad. That's pretty bad, Corey.
But
Stratton beat Jones and then secured the Pro 2 champ. Oh, and also Pro 2. Yeah, let's stop there. Pro 2, man. That was a weird time. It was like a prelude of weirdness to happen for Pro 1. So they kind of mirrored each other in the same weird way in that Travis Reed, man, he didn't even qualify. So all Dilly Does had to do was win his top 16 battle. And he got knocked out. And he crashed really hard in practice. And it was kind of a shit show. And then as a result, Reeder maintained. But it's still awesome for Dylan to get a second place championship in his first full season. He didn't get Rookie of the Year, though, because he did one round the previous year at Seattle and beat some buns there.
Right.
How do you think you would have done against all those peeps in Pro 2, Corey?
don't know. I would. I think I would do okay. I think after driving the car a few times, I'd be all right. But you don't know until you get out there. That's the real thing. You just really don't know until you get out there. But after driving Atlanta, my confidence did go up quite a bit just because everything was working and seeing how the team operates and works. Then obviously going out there and chasing Tanner and Forsberg and Osbo and realizing that the car kept up with them. And obviously they weren't in race trim, but the cars were fast. I did some runs against Kelsey. I did some runs against a lot of the other FD guys that came out there, Vaughn and the car worked good, and I was able to gain proximity on them. And it's just a matter of now doing that in competition. But I have a lot of confidence in it. I think we could do okay.
Yeah, I feel like I even texted you saying it. It's like if you could not be a little emotional baby at Irwindale, like you back when you were driving, like you were driving a lot better than the Pro 2 dudes from many years ago. I feel like Irwindale's a tough track for a lot of people. And your 33-point qualifying run from when you were in the sport was it looked a lot better than a lot of the Pro 2 dudes out there. Not to say the Pro 2 dudes weren't killing it all season, but Pro 2 was a little bit messy, and then they had rain, which didn't help anyone. Except for our buddy Riley Sexsmith got in the podium. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
He banged up his car a little bit, but showed that he
what's up with the rain, dude? That rain kind of came in a little late
weird.
And messed everything up, and Riley
Did it rain in pretty much every round this year?
Pretty much, at least at some point, I feel like. And then also, I haven't seen rain in California like a year. That's not to say that it didn't rain in LA before then, but I at least wasn't here for it. It's just really weird that it just showed up then, because it's not very common that you see some rain. It was some weird ass weather. There's lightning and thunder at my house. Yeah, so Pro 2, it was awesome. We'll talk more about that pretty soon with some Pro 2 boys. And then, there was that weird moment with Essa and Kugai. I know Farouk was worked up over it because he did not think that he should have gotten a loss there. But the judges, and we kind of also saw it too, was the fact that he not rode Essa into the wall, but he led him. You know, the lead driver kind of picks the line, and Farouk went in real deep there, and Essa followed, and Farouk managed to get out. Essa did not. At least that's how the judges saw it. But we'll surely talk to him and every other driver during the season, off-season here.
That was kind of a call, and Farouk protested that run too. Mm-hmm. You know, caused a protest saying that it wasn't his fault, and obviously it went the way it originally did, so judges deemed it the original call, which is interesting, which is fine. Good. I think they made the right call. The whole event had some moments, and I think even talk about any of the competition. I know we're kind of going to it a little early. It's just the vibe of Irwindale that put out this year that was different than any others. And I think that's something that should be elaborated on too is, you know, at the beginning of the year, we have the petition here that says, let's go run Vegas. And we ended up not running Vegas. We actually obviously ran Irwindale, which once again, we all scored and lucked out because we saw the best Irwindales probably in the history of Irwindale.
Well, Forsberg, AM, and I saved it with our infomercial, if you remember.
I don't remember that one. It must not have been very good.
Okay.
So the vibe was different. So I think, once again, we always come into this round. Everybody's usually excited and everybody's usually amped up. But there was this different, almost like a calm sensation where nobody felt like it was a full panic, full rush mode. Mm-hmm. Everybody just kind of knew that we just got to go out there and do our best. And if we're going to wreck this thing, we're going to wreck it. It seemed like everybody was okay throwing it all the way no matter what this round. I think that's what made it so
pretty common
good.
For Irwindale, I think. But also there's people, we talked to a couple people that weren't of that demeanor because like, no, my car's got to be at Sema in a few weeks. Like I can't total it. Well, there's other people that are like, yep, this is this car's last run ever. Let's throw her in the wall.
Yeah, let's just junk it. And I think the driving showed that. And even from top 32 on, obviously we saw Dean go out early and a couple other guys that you didn't expect to go out early because I think people that we wouldn't expect are willing to throw it away.
Yeah, so I think all Dean had to do was make it past the 8, which I don't think he hasn't done all year. I think he's always made it further than that. And he got beat by Forrest, which was an insane run by Forrest and Dean. And Dean made an uncharacteristic mistake, and Forrest drove better than he pretty much ever has. And that was it for Dean. That must have felt bad because all he had to do was win that battle. And then Osbo probably wouldn't have won, almost no chance. And then if he would have won 8, then he would have locked it in. But, I guess if he would have won that battle with Wang, if I remember correctly, Osbo would have still been in the same position. So even if he advanced then, and then he had to go against the Goosh man, and then lost to Gooshi, I think nothing would have really changed in that. Osbo still could have won the championship if he won the event.
Jojo Redmond did his top 10 things, and he actually mentioned that Forrest Wanks proves he's the king of the S chassis, where he went out there and obviously took out the current champion driving a similar car, and and Jojo breaks it down in the sense that Forrest was a little bit slower with wheel speed, but the style and the wall rides were something that James couldn't touch that run.
Yeah, one of our bros in the chat, Julian Simmons, is saying Dean's power steering was out, which is definitely plausible.
Yeah, James did have a correction on the first half of the bank, which sealed the deal. But from enjoyment-wise, a lot of people were leaning towards how aggressive Wang was driving, like Wang does. But it was just, we talked about it before.
No, I just wanted to say something real quick. It was actually, James said in an interview with Lorette, it was a steering shaft that was rubbing against like the wastegate pipe. And so like the bolt on the shaft would just be notching over the pipe as the steering wheel was rotating. Right. And there's something about the way the engine was moving was having issues, and that's why he was having problems with that Battle of Forest. Yeah, so he had the big correction on the bank, which obviously took him out. But yeah,
end of the day, man.
You got to look at it. How could you go all season and not have that problem? You come to the final round and that happens. You know what I mean? Or how come that wasn't experienced in practice or qualifying? It seems like it just came on then. So, the cards fall how they fall, but it makes you think, how did that happen going into that particular run?
Why wasn't it perfect
Yeah.
for everybody? Yeah,
You've had 3 days of driving up to that point, so how did it trigger there?
So technically that wasn't the ultimate battle then, because they weren't the cars were never an excuse for whoever wins or loses.
Yeah, I think Joey's headline was a little sensationalist. I'd still like to see a balls out.
Well, we were going to see what at Atlanta, right? But there was an issue in Atlanta that didn't give them a chance to run head-to-head.
I think that was the power steering one.
So they had 2 opportunities, and we even mentioned that during our halftime show that we wait for the Forrest and Dean battle. I think that's one of the most anticipated battle that we expect to see or hope to see at one point throughout the season, and we've had it twice. But and it was always Dean that had issues.
No, they said he had issues. But yeah, they said it was one win for each of them, and I guess they've gone up against each other twice, and it was 1-1. And yeah,
but there's been mild mechanicals in both that caused an issue where it hasn't been a full 100. Like, all right, is your car 100%? Okay, mine is. Let's run. And I think that's what we're gonna be waiting on. And obviously they're gonna be coming back next year. Forrest, I don't know what his status is, but it's a 50-50 right now from what I'm hearing, that he may or may not come back next year. So we'll see but hopefully he does, obviously, with the
I think
the
one way or
excitement.
another we'll see it for sure. It'll happen.
I
maybe not in FD.
Yeah.
Maybe in another arena. Who knows? So if Forrest doesn't come back to FD, who knows?
Watching Dean's lead run is something. He's just on the wall the whole time. I need to see. For some reason, you can watch the entire event on Formula Drift's YouTube, which is nice. Usually in the past, though, I feel like they split it up by battle. This one they have not, which kind of makes it harder to watch. Well, I'll also have to watch the whole replay thing. It's also really cool. A quick side note: seeing the chase drone. That was a big come up for FD to have that live chase drone, which is new buddy Johnny FPV. He's actually on a shoot with us a couple days afterwards, which is pretty cool. Getting really weird doing that chase drone stuff. He's just a little kid. That's no, he's not a little kid. He's not that little.
He's 21.
He's old enough to party.
Yeah.
But it is funny. We went to a restaurant after our shoot and in Indy, and we sat in the bar, and then the waitress was like, "Do you have your ID? It's only adults allowed in the bar." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna find out if he's over 21 or not." And then he's like, "Yeah, it's just left in the car. I'll be right back." And I was like, "Is he gonna ghost right now? Is he not gonna come back because he's embarrassed that he's not 21?" But he came back, and either he's got a very convincing fake, or but he's really nice, good kid, and it made it sound like he's gonna be coming back.
Yeah,
sounds like rounds.
Yeah, sounds like there might be a deal in the works next year with a company that's going to probably support.
The fact that they were showing that drone replay right after the race every time, I mean, that was pretty cool. I think that added a lot to the quality of the live stream. If you think about
Definitely.
Well, I think also with Formula Drift, they always select tracks or try to select tracks that give the audience the closest feel to being right against the action. And even when they came out here and scouted the track at Wild Horse for Pro 2, you know, for us out here, we know there's so many different variations that you can run the course, but their biggest concern was how do we get the fans like feeling this up and close? Because the thing is you look at other forms of racing, you know, road racing, for example, where the course is 3 miles long or 2.5 miles long, and you get a glimpse. And
Motorboating.
yeah, motorboating, you're usually right up in the shit, Sam. I've seen that a couple times, huh, buddy? But you know, the thing is so when it was interesting because I was there for the scouting process, and so they picked a part of the course where they were able to literally put the bleachers right next to the track, within 10, 15 feet. Obviously, taking consideration the safety and things like that. But I think the idea of the drone was also to give people at home that can't get the sense of feeling of being there to be riding along. And so I think they saw the draw from that. So it sounds like we'll be seeing much more of that, and hopefully it's going to just keep improving, getting better and better.
Definitely more sense of the speed and just how close they really are, and by moving with them, I think that's just that added element.
And it's cool because it's one of those things that drifting can do, but other sports can't, because the speeds in other motorsports won't allow it, nor the longevity of races, because those drones only have like 3 or 4 minute battery, and even less so at full pull. So it really is just kind of like perfect for drifting. And I just watched the battle again between Dean and Forrest, and it really, I think, just came down to the chase run. Dean just completely messed up the chase, and I think the leads were pretty comparable. If anything, Dean's was a little bit better. But yeah, that was the most shocking thing. That's how we kicked off top 16, and we were all in the booth like, all right, let's get ready for a fun event. And then that happened, and we were all screaming and flipping over tables, and we're sitting next to the head operator of the track and the booth next to us. And he's like, what are you kids doing? Get down off the rafter. We didn't say that. We were good. But it was good. We did get a bunch of beef jerky from our buddy. That was good.
That was really good.
Pretty moist.
Who brought that jerky?
Josh.
Josh brought the jerky, and then our other buddy Brendan from Firestone brought us a bunch of beers.
Dude, yeah, he had like a big, like
John Bon jerky.
Big cooler. Are we allowed to say that, Sam?
What?
That we drank beers?
Yeah.
F it. We're never going back to Irwindale.
Do you like beer?
Last year.
Have you ever been blacked out, Sam?
Have you ever blacked out, Paco?
I like beer.
One time I got blackout drunk and climbed a tree, and then I fell out of that tree.
Oh, that means you're guilty.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Guilty of climbing trees while blackout drunk and nearly dying. It really is good though that you loosen up when you're drunk, because if I would have tightened up while falling down that tree and hitting all the branches, I bet it would have broken something. I could be like fully paralyzed, but
right now.
That's a good story. That's a little less.
Maybe the pro drifters need to drink beer or two before every run, so in case of a
gotta
crash.
Loosen up.
Yeah, in case of a crash, I'm fine.
I've heard stories of some drivers in the early days of drifting, maybe having a drink or two.
The early days of drifting, like back in the 68, 69.
Yeah, back in 69. Good year. Very good year.
That's my favorite. Sure.
Oh, Andy Haley just said, who's going to surf that wicked barrel in Sam's hair?
Yep.
Hopefully you do, Andy, with your tongue.
That's pretty rad. There you go.
What? Did they fix it? Is it better?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's wicked.
Let's talk about Osbo and Castro, because Osbo had a very stacked brack, and everything was against him. And kind of like our buddy Jojo Redman said in his top 10, it was pretty crazy how he only lost to Forsberg by a few points a few years ago, and now he lost to Dean by a few points in a somewhat similar fashion here. And Osbo had a very rough time of it there. He had Castro, and Castro was on, and Osbo just happened to be on her.
Yeah.
And then he had Carney. Carney was on. He had someone to prove after having a bad engine season as well. And then he had Wang, who just took down the champion, and then he had Vaughn. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But Vaughn showed up.
That was the craziest comeback, I think. Like Van hasn't been like shining much this year.
He hasn't been good since I was on his team, and I even pointed that out to him, and I made fun of him for it. And then he's like, "I'll fucking show you, you smart ass." And then he did.
He did.
That's not how it actually happened.
Yeah.
But and also I didn't actually say those words to him because that'd be rude.
Yeah.
But no, he's had a couple of rough seasons, and this whole season was definitely less than optimal for someone of his skill and standing and team and all that. But he showed up. I don't know if he had dad strength. I think that's.
No, said that powers. We're joking about it.
Well, you get dad strength when you have a kid, and the kid's about to burst. So I bet he got his dad strength a little early.
Yeah, because he seemed more than just motivated. He was like, I mean, his battle against the Nova.
Yeah, and that was the best of the battles, because those guys always go so hard against each other in weird ways. And Denova, I think, would have beat him if Denova didn't go a little too hard in the touch and go and blasted him just a little too hard, just a little belly blast.
I think what Denova needs to touch and stay.
That was,
that
was very risque. But Chelsea was driving like a bat out of heck. And I think when
he's been driving like that all season.
Yeah. When we were doing our brackets for the halftime show, and we filled them out thinking who was going to go to the top, I had it as Dean getting beaten by Osbo in the top 4, and then Peter winning the event again and securing the championship for Dean. But then Peter got knocked out by Odie.
It's
16.
Same thing. It's just such a crazy round.
Yeah, definitely the first time that the Wardhouses have been knocked out in the 16 together.
Yeah. Yet they still finish in first and second.
And it didn't even matter, man. But it's crazy too. Like Osbo losing by 6 points. That's the difference between qualifying first and qualifying low. And those guys qualified very high the whole season. But it's also like one position higher any other round. So it's like if Osbo would have done the exact same performance this round and then finished one spot higher any previous round, he would have won the championship.
Yeah, and even one of the interviews that Osbo gave, he just says, we didn't lose it this round. A lot of people are like, oh, man. And he's like, no, there was other rounds that we could have done something better, even not qualified as bad. So he didn't blame it on the round. He just said we could have done better at other ones as well. So it's exactly what you said. You got to look at every round as it impacts the championship. And
because James Dean definitely won the championship in the first 5 rounds. He was at the top of the pretty commanding lead.
Yep.
From all that, and Denova. Let's just talk about Denova and Vaughn. That was silly because the RTR boys and I really like seeing Denova get dialed in that car because he's like the sign of what's to come with Team RTR. I don't imagine Vaughn's going to drive forever. I don't have inside news by any means, but it's just like I can see him just going to more of a team manager role and just an RTR captain, chairman, full time rather than driving. Not tomorrow, but I think that'll probably happen at some point here. And I bet that Chelsea will then be like the flagship driver, and then maybe they'll get Corey to fill in. Like
I'll change tires for them if they need a tire changer. So
chainser.
Chainser. And I put chains on them for snow season. So we're getting there. We're getting there, Sam.
It's gonna be weird watching the Osbo Castro battle. It's gonna be weird potentially not seeing Osbo in a Corolla anymore because it was such a weird car to come in last year. I mean, like 2017 year. Was that the first year? I think so. And no one thought he would do good, and then he did well then. And then this year, obviously, nearly got a championship in that car. And it's just such a weird little car that does so well. And if he should get into a bigger, better car, will it be better though? I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Well, we see what Papadakis is capable of, and I don't think he would put him in a car that he didn't feel was capable. Mama Daddy Papi Kisses.
I remember.
Have you heard of him? He used to race Del Sols in drag racing, and then he moved to Corollas. So he has good taste in cars. We know that.
What do y'all think of the? We didn't want to talk too much shit while Osbo was on the show. What do you think of the new Supra? I think it looks a little poopy.
I think it looks smaller. Like it doesn't look like a full body.
Didn't he say it's the same size of like an FRS?
It's a Z4 essentially.
It's
BMW
like a C4,
and Toyota collaborated heavily in the project, and it's a Z4. And granted, like the new Z4s are big cars. It's not like the old Z chassis. Big cars comparatively to like the older ones. Like the older ones were like Miata size, like a Z3. this car. It's definitely bigger, but it's weird. It's weird to call it a Supra.
I want a big fat Supra like Rad Dan's.
Radical Daniels.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to see. I'm stuck on the previous generation Supra.
It is good looking when modified correctly. I see stock ones and like compare it to like a stock RX-7 and FDX7, like a stock R34 GTR. It doesn't look nearly as good in my opinion, but when you put some goodies on it,
Yeah.
Yeah, all the Toyota sports cars had that curvaceous 1990 style, like the Celica GT4, the MR2. They all had.
Oh,
that
that's just like the
similar look.
bubble style.
Yeah.
I definitely like the style of the earlier ones too, like the whatever you call the A70. Is that the previous one?
A60.
A60, yeah, that one. That one's a ballin' car too. But I don't know. I'm excited to see a race team do stuff with that car. I wonder if there's got to be one at Sema. You'd think, right? I'm curious if it'll look ugly in the flesh to me. Like I bet it'll look pretty. I just don't like the lines on it. It looks bulbous and weird in the photos.
It looks like an FRS.
Yeah, it looks like a FRS that got a little chunky. It's like Corey 2004 to like Corey 2018.
But Corey 2018 is way stronger and way more powerful.
Yeah,
That
but
matches up
also you got a lot of extra.
Way more
bits.
torque. I got way more torque, Sam.
Yeah, but a lot more weight too.
And I'm fully torqued right now. So you pick, Sam. Buddy.
I mean, I'll pick lighter and less power, probably.
Why? Why would
I
you
don't
do
know.
that? I can run bigger and better tire sizes, dude. Come on.
Yeah, but you never use
I give
rubbers.
you more. I don't at all.
That didn't feel good to say.
Thank you, Sam. You know me all too well, there, buddy.
Man, we're getting a lot risque.
What's into the season? This is all stuff we've been holding in, and guess what?
Yeah.
We don't have to report to the Drift Dads at all for at least another 6 months. So,
Fuck you, Ryan Sage.
Sam, take it back. Come on, Sam, don't say that. Ryan,
will.
sorry, Big Balls was supposed to put bleep in there, and he didn't. Our bleep button broke a couple years ago.
Yeah, I
and we haven't got
spilled
it
soda on it,
fixed.
you know.
Spilled soda.
we're gonna-
He spilled the docks. He spilled the dock. Did you know that, Sam? Big Balls spilled the dock energy drink
I
on
need
the
to find
bleep
more.
button,
Jeff
and it
Jones.
melted the whole button.
Jeff, I need more Doc X, please.
We're gonna
Yeah.
do our State of the Union annual post-season talk with Ryan and/or Jim after SEMA. We decided so. Gotta get through SEMA. It's come on so fast here, and they have a lot of stuff to do. And I'm sure they're gonna announce some exciting stuff at the press conference on Wednesday at SEMA, and then we'll talk to them about all that stuff and the season and what they think about it all.
Yeah, we've been kind of hearing quite a bit of things. Obviously, a few things about next season, and it seems like it's gonna be shaken up a bit, quite a bit. And obviously,
What have you heard?
Well, I think one thing we should be looking at is everybody from Drift Masters who got FD license and the people that are actually pushing to come over. I think we're going to have another mild invasion of Europeaners coming over and taking over our
Europeaners?
sport.
Europeans?
Yep. And, you look at the Shanahans, those guys dominated and they beat James over in Ireland and in Drift Masters. And I think there's a huge talent over there. They've been kind of the crazy creative ones when it comes to this, and they're going to come over. So I think that's going to be something we should be looking forward to. I also think we should be looking forward to potential new partnerships or teammates. We might see more teams blossom next year with 2-car teams rather than individual car teams. I think that's going to be the other thing we'll be seeing a lot of.
Yeah, that's been an increasing thing. Do you know of some new couples that are becoming Facebook official?
I think there's 2 couples that are quickly in the works, but I'm also thinking we're going to see a few people jump out of old cars into new cars. So we're going to see a lot of chassis changes this year.
You know so many insider deets that you're not letting on to, don't you?
What? I don't know anything.
You know so many flippin' deets.
Flippins, dudes. I know a little bit, Sam. I spend a lot of time. Well, the thing is, I talk to every team, every driver, every crew guy.
Well,
Such a fun. I do too, but
before-
not as much as you. But you're just a gossip.
We just
You
nerd
get all
out.
the-
No, we nerd out because we're always, even for myself, we talk about, we share ideas. Hey, why are you doing this? What are you doing? What's your plans? What are you doing? How you want to do this? Da-da-da-da-da. So we're always brainstorming, and it's crazy enough. You know, the Sam being in Vaughn's team, it's crazy the amount of communications that teams have throughout the entire season to help support each other to once again, create longevity in the sport. You could look at Forsberg and Turk, and it's like, yeah, those guys can run separate programs, but with their powers combined, the resources go that much further. Vaughn and Chelsea, obviously Alec Honadell and Matt Kaufman, they were running. Obviously, Alec got another deal with Huddy, which ended that deal. But I think people are seeing the financial rewards by being partners or teaming up and splitting the costs and sharing resources and parts and tools and crew guys that you hear about it more. You hear it popping up more often. And I think we may see people start changing cars to be more similar to what their teammates running. So once again, more larger resources of spare parts and tools and a lot of similarities. And it doesn't make sense to, unless it's fully funded, to have two different cars, which means you're going to have to carry 2 spares for a Dodge Viper and then 2 spares for a Mazda RX-7, where now it's like, you know what, if we just keep 2 or 3 sets, we can share it amongst each other. We can keep 2 transmissions instead of having 4. We can keep and so that resources.
They're saying that Mad Mike is going to be on a team with Dean Carney in a Viper next year.
No, it's going to be the Kiwi Irish.
Yeah, stick that 4-rotor turbo in the Viper. That'd be pretty interesting.
Or stick the V12, V10. Is it V10 in the
V10,
in an RX-7? That would make everyone happy.
Yes.
Corey, what's the biggest secret that you can't say?
Any breakups?
Well, obviously we can't say.
Let me think, Samuel. I'm trying to think of something good. All the things you said running through my head.
Wow.
Yep, that's a throwback.
I've got a couple secrets. Here's one.
Okay.
1, something's wrong with me.
2, something's got to give.
3.
Something's got to give.
Yeah, 3, something's got to give.
No.
Well, let's talk about this. Let's ask some questions for you guys, and even for you guys in Facebook and YouTube chat. What partnerships would you guys like to see, and what would be the advantages?
I'd like to see June Meng,
And Tyler McQuarrie.
Conrad Grunwald.
Those are like comebacks. Retired drivers coming back.
I want to see. It's gonna be like the movie Wild Hogs with Tim Allen. And they're all on crotch rockets.
Or they can just be on Wild Hogs.
Here's the thing: is they also have to get a 4th person. No. So what they do is 2 crotch rockets equal 1 drift car.
No, Sam. This is what they're doing. They're doing 4 people, 3 bikes, so somebody always has to piggyback and ride bitch.
Yeah, ride bareback.
Yeah. So and the person who rides that spot's paper, rock, scissors always. One shot. Everybody knows the rules. But yeah, so somebody's riding bitch.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's going to be a really exciting team to look out for next year. A couple more. We got some super chat questions. One from Overtime Pictures. Which I wonder if that actually is Crenshaw, because it says thoughts on Crenshaw from RTR. Crenshaw is Vaughn's right hand man on the team. I would say the thoughts that I have on Crenshaw are mostly without clothes. Sometimes with, but those are times when it's cold out. But then, like, slowly and surely, he'll talk to me, and then I'll be like, "No, you shouldn't say such nice things." He's like, "No, I insist," and then like he's like, "Oh, we can stay warm if we both have our shirts off and hug," and then it kind of goes some other weird spots, but it's not really that important. But yeah, I like Crenshaw. He's good. He was good, except for when he fired me for being too effective. Yeah, that's what they said. They're like, "You're doing." Your videos are the best we've ever seen.
Overproducing. Can't keep up with you.
We're tired of you staying up all night making these sick videos. Get out of here.
Your videos make our driver look too good, and then he can't keep up with he's like over promising.
Yep. And then we got another one from Aaron Quilas. He says, "Sam, what's your cat name? Talk more about kitties on the show."
About what?
You guys want to hold on a second? Oh, the cats. It's off season, dude.
Kitties.
Oh, I'm all about talking cats.
Hold on.
Big Balls gets excited.
You're a cat guy too, Balls?
Yeah, I got a Bengal like Sam. Actually, Sam came to a party at my house, saw my cat, and then he went and got one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you guys love bang holes.
You guys actually, for those of for those who don't know, Brian is big balls because like hairballs.
right?
That's
Cat,
because
cat
of the
hairs.
cats. Yeah.
I bet Sam's litter box is in his mouth.
He just like opens
He just
wide.
when he sleeps, just opens wide, and the cat just runs by. And
In the middle of the night. Yeah.
yeah, I slept.
No, the
I-
cat
I-
goes up to his face and just sucks all his breath out.
Yep, just CPR.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam loves his cats. Maximum Cat Cast, Drift Cats.
No, Maximum Driftcast.
Yeah, that's what it is. Let's see partnerships. While Sam's grabbing his dumb cat.
Kyle Mohan and Jeff Jones.
Yeah, well, they're yeah they
They, I mean, I don't think they're
There's Kyle.
officially partners, but
yeah. It looks like Sam brought a stuffed animal with a cat with a bow tie.
yeah,
for you guys.
Boston Robotics got him
Okay.
pretty far.
Bugger's got a little bow tie. He really likes being held, as you can tell.
Sam, his penis
So-
is touching your arm.
That's fine. When you're a father.
Stuff
like that just
messes.
So yeah, anyways, he's really good at being held. One of my favorite parts about him.
He's a good boy.
Pretty-
Look at that.
He's pretty long if you look.
That's a long cat.
So it's kind of nice to have a cat that's this long. You can do a lot of stuff with it.
like have him comb your hair
Yeah. So that's Maximum Drift Cats.
for you.
Thanks for
Good
sharing,
segment.
Sam. That was really cool, Sam. Thanks for sharing.
Really in depth. Just because you don't love anything doesn't mean that you can hate on us having.
I like cats, Sam, but I'm highly allergic.
So hold on. So we talked about Jeff Jones and Kyle Mohan. They're going to remain a team for
Yeah.
sure.
Also,
That's-
thanks, Aaron, because he paid $5 to see a cat. What do you want? What do you want to? If you want to have $5 to,
I paid
have-
$5 to see your cans, and I couldn't even see those.
If you want to have $5 to have Corey show you his,
But
Show me your
It's just-
kitties.
but
to have
Show
him
me
show
your
you his fur
kitties.
baby.
moon the camera.
And,
I usually get paid $7 a nip, so come on. I'm expensive,
right.
Sam. You know that.
yeah,
Jeff Jones, Kyle Mohan remain the same.
confirmed.
Chelsea Denofa, Von Gittin
Yeah.
remain the same.
How do you
Ron-
know?
How do I know? Because you just mentioned that they're probably not going to go anywhere, and Vaughn has at least another 2 years in driving.
I didn't say any of that.
Shut
at
up,
all.
Sam.
You are
so
extrapolating.
let's say keep them together. And the other thing too is just financially, it wouldn't make sense to ditch Chelsea right now. Wouldn't make
Even though
sense.
he's back, he right after the event, he went into Vaughn's trailer and smashed a bunch of bottles.
Yeah,
And then he's like, "Don't you ever make me look bad in front of my friends again."
Dad.
Do you guys think Formula Drift should implement an additional prize for at the end of a season for like best teams?
Well, I think what you could do is have
Like that would
instead
like-
of a manufacturer, have a team championship like you have Team Red
Yeah,
Bull,
exactly,
you have
like-
Team X, you
Yeah,
have
team RTR, team weirdos.
Remember, they used to do on the fly team competitions at Long Beach.
But it's the overall
championship.
championship standings.
Yeah, it should be one of those
Oh,
like
okay,
Bigfoot
okay,
awards at the end of the year, like
Yeah.
best
Highest finishing
two-way.
team. Yeah. It could be tag teams and they wear championship winning belts.
No, but
That's-
also it would motivate more drivers to team up. You know, like,
but I don't think it makes a difference if they team up or not. I just think, obviously, if you have tons of money, you want to be a lone wolf, go be a lone wolf. But if you feel there's a benefit of teaming up, then yeah, team up. I wouldn't force people to do it, but there's an incentive to do
yeah,
it.
this sport actually, it definitely incentivizes that.
So, who
I thought one award they should probably do is best podcast host triple kiss,
Okay,
and that's one that I'd be looking forward to.
I would check that out. You weren't at the awards banquet, so you wouldn't be able to do it. So we'd have to.
Yeah, how
find-
was that? I've never been. No one's ever invited me.
Yeah, no, nobody wanted you. They actually said, "Where's Sam Matt?" And we said, "Oh, he stayed at home." They're like, "Good," because we didn't send him the invitation. So
No, I had to finish up Nido Hang Time.
I didn't see that either. Was it
Yeah,
any good?
no, you rather than say anything nice about it, you're just like, you know what? Fuck Nido tires. Fuck Harry.
I've never
Fuck.
said that. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
you
let
did.
you keep a job, Sam. I'm always supporting you.
Mhm.
I said,
Thank
even
you.
though Sam's editing shit and you gave him a chance, hopefully the next one works out a little bit better.
Yeah, that was a lot of my life. Between that, like I couldn't talk about it, but there's some rough weeks, man. There's some rough weeks between that and Nürburgring video, King of the Ring. It's cool, definitely cool doing all that stuff, but it was a lot of hours. It's a lot of hours, and it's one of those things
Oh.
this week where I'm sure it's a little bit real talk. I'm sure it's a little bit like hangover from the season. It's like, I'm a little bit tired and bummed that that FD's over, but then also I did like 200 or 300 hours in 2 or 3 weeks. I forget. It's all blur at this point on these videos. Now this week I'm like back to a normal schedule. I don't know what to do with myself, man.
Outside of talking about yourself, you conceited bastard. Let's
Shut
talk about drifting
up.
again. One thing I do want to talk about, Sam, is Kristaps. What the F?
I don't know, man. Did he talk to you?
Kristaps didn't show up to Irwindale.
Did he talk to you about it?
No, but I heard rumors.
Secrets?
I
What'd
heard
you hear?
rumors. I heard that obviously he wasn't performing the way he wanted, and that the engine that he lost in Texas, to which I have the part that he broke at my house, which I should probably send back to him.
Those Mass V8s aren't cheap, are they, Corey?
No, and I think that's what happened. I think he lost the engine and realized what it would cost to replace it going in the last round. And he's like,
There's no.
I'm going to
point.
spend $20,000-$30,000 on this engine, and then it's going to cost me another $10,000 to go run that event, or $8,000.
Even though when they weren't even contending for.
Yeah, so it's to them they saved X because they didn't make it. I don't know what the repercussions going to be. Maybe he's like, I don't care about the repercussions. I'm not coming back next year. Because I know he was hoping at Sema last year that he would have some budget put together for this year, which he didn't get fully. You know, he had Motul and a couple other guys on there, but I don't think it was big money guys. And there was this big misconception. I'm sure you guys saw the video, and we've talked about it before in earlier years, about how somebody went up to Kristaps and said, this is a $10 million car, or this is a $1 million program, and this guy operates. If you can't make $1 million bucks, then you shouldn't run an FD. And Kristaps, to be honest with you guys, has one of the lower budget programs in Formula
It's
Drift.
him and two dudes, and there's not many big stickers in the car.
Yeah.
And
One
it's
of the-
an expensive car, but
One of the things that people don't understand is that, yes, that car's expensive, but it's because they put the work on it. Like, it's expensive because of their labor.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, too, is by owning that shop, you develop this car for yourself, which hopefully goes back to paying yourself for the development of this. So it's like, yeah, do you know what? If you bought that car, you know, walk into a showroom and say, here's $150,000, there you go. But realistically for him, obviously building 30 of them a year, just his overall cost, and then putting his man hours into it, and then his two crew guys, he got out. Yeah, it's still an expensive car to some degree, but still the overall
it's an expensive
budget to
motor and
spend.
expensive transmission. But then you've got a couple of sponsored parts on there, like suspension and Wisefab and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then the body was designed and
Created by him,
by them, from what I
right.
understand.
The fab work was all
obviously
done
the
by them.
fabrication.
Wisefab suspension. Once again, it's just a winner's quick change with modified subframe. Once again, they install that. Drive shaft shop axles. You can purchase those, which is very easy. Fuel safe fuel cell. Once again, that's off the shelf stuff. So like the cosmetic and the fabrication's all done by him in his shop.
So,
If I had to think about it real quick, if I had like $1 million to give to a team, I don't want to say decisively. I'd want to have everyone submit a proposal to me. Yeah, I'd have everyone fight for it. Off the top of my head, I'd be like, here you go, Kristaps. I want to see you have like a full support staff behind you, and obviously he's already got a badass car, so I'm sure some people would be upset about me giving them my Kristaps, but it's like, I want to see.
Who do you think would be Kristaps' best teammate? Like, should we pair him with?
Daigo.
We already decided. Yeah,
Bring
didn't we
Daigo
already do
back.
this game? I'm trying to remember who we said.
I mean, I like the idea of if Daigo comes back. I mean, after all,
They work together on quite a bit of stuff. That's what I thought of him.
Isn't that Corvette, that old Kevlar Corvette?
It's
that
HGK,
Daigo's
a
like,
lot of
it's all
HGK
HGK stuff.
I would say Radical Daniel, just so I could see Kristaps grow a mullet.
See, so what are you guys looking for out of you guys? What are you looking for in a teammate? Why would you pick Daigo? Just out of curiosity.
Because
I just thought that the Daigo and Blues had already some business that they've done together. They did work together. You know, they have a history already. So for Daigo to come back to FD, that would be really exciting. That would put on a new element to return to the show.
also Daigo seems to usually have budget, which if you team
he has
with
money.
well, not
Well,
that
take
he
that
has
out of
money.
consideration. Take budget out of consideration. What-
Forsberg showed me a photo today of Daigo with like 20 transmissions.
12, yeah, he had
on the
11.
front.
No, yeah, I counted them. 12 Samsonite sequential transmissions.
Yeah.
And those are what, like 20 a pop?
They're probably 18 to 20 apiece.
And he might be a distributor for those. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
So you're looking at a different element then.
Yeah, I'm looking at something much different than you guys.
But that's the thing. Like, I mean, outside of that, there's no real meaning on having a teammate. Like, I mean, when you
No,
were
I
with
think there's-
Forsberg,
I think-
other than
I think there was a big supporting element to that, right? I think you got to look at the supporting element to what makes a good team, and just like anything, like any super, you always
Yeah.
have.
Well, I
and
think-
so
I think
you
what-
would have two teammates, but you wouldn't. I think the interaction would be limited. I think the airtime wouldn't be very good. I think the communication it would
Okay,
be.
I see what you're saying
So
now.
I'm looking.
I see what you're saying
Literally,
now.
a teammate
Yeah.
would be a dynamic duo that would support each other. Look at Jeff Jones and Come on.
Corey,
That will.
you're
What's that?
You're the only real driver here. Who would you choose?
Hold on, that would. But did you see how Jeff Jones and Kyle Mohan changed this year? It's been their best season because they work off each other, they vibe off each other. They don't have the biggest budget, but they brought more attention to them this year based off their as far as creativity goes, and that's what makes a team. I think because
that's part of it.
You don't want to be partnered with somebody that you don't look at. Turk and Forsberg, obviously they have the relationship. That's why they partnered up. It's like, you know what? We already buds. We work well together. We're doing series together. This is what makes this team.
But
I think Kristaps and Daigo would be very separated. They wouldn't. I don't see it being treated. They're too competitive to be treated as like a true.
But at the same time, I mean, one of the things that I feel Kristaps lacks is crew. You know, it's always 3 people, and Daigo usually brings a big crew. So I think, like, regardless of their interaction between each other, like you said, I mean, which I think is very important, absolutely. I think like the same way you see, you saw it with Dylan.
Okay, but
when Dylan's car went bad, like you had Forsberg's crew and like.
But here's this: if Daigo had a problem with his car, and so did Kristaps, guess what? They wouldn't touch Kristaps' car. They would. They'd be
that's a
so
whole
it doesn't
different
matter.
thing.
It doesn't matter how much crew you bring. It's when you need them, you need them. And if there's a
But
situation,
then that takes away the teammate element of it. Then
that's so. I think he needs somebody that's going to be operating very similar to him. I think he needs a character that's going to show off his weaknesses.
Somebody's got the body.
So
somebody's got the stamina.
I think
Kristaps'
weakest link is communication. I think he needs a strong media partner. I think he needs
Kristaps. You're listening to the show. And your teammate for Formula Drift 2019
is drumroll Corey.
Corey Hosford.
No, Corey. Who's it going to be?
No,
Corey. Yes.
No, he needs somebody that would support him in what he's weak in. I think Kristaps is a great fabricator and a great builder and super technical and knows how he likes his car set up, and he's
driver.
Very meticulous. But what he's lacking is the other side. So what you need to do is find somebody that has those weaknesses but the strengths that he's missing. Right?
Yeah, and you're covering all bases here outside of the seat, like the working with media and, all these other elements.
That's what makes a team, right?
Well, yeah, but so does having mutual financial responsibilities and sharing crew responsibilities, too, I would think is just as much of an element in that. If you're teammates, your crews are teammates, too. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. But at the end of the day, it's still competition, right? So when Forsberg goes against Turk, guess what? The crews are not touching each other's car. But yes, if Turk goes down and Forsberg advances, then you're going to get a little bit extra hand for sure.
I think based off of all the criteria you just said, he should be on Team RTR.
What's that?
If you take out, he should be on Team RTR. If you take out the fact that
he'd be great. He would be a great candidate for Vaughn. Except I think more on the corporate side. I don't think Vaughn would be able to put Kristaps in a Ford and then take him to Geneva Auto Convention, do ride-alongs and shake hands and smile.
Yeah, if that's the
I'm
case,
just saying because Kristaps likes to campaign his own car in his own shop, of course. But if he was just a driver, then
I think that'd be if you're a hired gun and you show up and drive, he would need somebody like that. Just give me the best car, and I want to go out there and win events.
I would say the person I've seen having the best interaction with Kristaps is Forsberg.
That could be a really strong team, actually.
Yeah, they're tight-ass bros.
Yeah,
that would be a really good team.
They're bros. I mean, and I don't know if obviously, it's not like teams are a thing. I mean, it could be a 3-car team.
Yeah, I think Forsberg and Kristaps. Forsberg would probably be Kristaps' best teammate, for sure.
Yeah.
Forsberg poo-poos on the LS, but if he had, like, Kristaps' LS, which is the craziest, highest strung LS ever made, he couldn't poo-poo on that.
Yeah. No, he couldn't. And once again, I think they have a really good relationship. They've worked at MA Motorsports together.
Kristaps has spent a lot of time in that hot tub.
Yeah. It's like even on Instagram, you'll see Forsberg. Hey, Kristaps, when are you coming home? Meaning Forsberg's house, because Kristaps used to live there.
Yeah.
During part of the season when they were working on the car. So I think that's the teammate we're looking at. I think Forsberg would be a great candidate for Kristaps, and I hope he comes back, but he's lacking a lot of that resource.
Do you think it has to be somebody existing in FD now, either retired or currently active?
No, I think he'd also link up somebody coming in, right? I think a prime example would be Kaufman and Turk, right?
Yeah.
Kaufman came in, brought Turk on, and the idea behind that was Turk had a lot of the resources that Turk didn't have. Kaufman had the rig. Kaufman had the facility. He had a lot of the resources. When Turk came off of Retax, he was running out of a small enclosed trailer, a small truck. And when you're at Turk's level, especially now with his media, it's like you need a draw. You need to have a hospitality place. You need food cater. You need to have a proper activation for people to come out and spend time there. And so by him linking up with Kaufman, he got all those benefits. And Kaufman then got, once again, the
he
media
was on-
aspect
he was
and
on
the
some
camera
shows.
and some
Yeah.
shows. And so I think those team, once again, that idea, even though they weren't a perfect match, it was they bounced each other out well enough to say, hey, do you know what? I'm the outspoken one. This is the new guy. I'm showing the new guy how to get around out here. Watch us as we do this. That's a cool team to watch because I think Robbie and Daigo was a great team.
Yeah.
That's a great team.
You know, someone that doesn't speak English and a translator. That's important.
Yeah. Well, it's like, once again, you have a guy that's quote unquote Daigo
Wink,
doesn't
wink.
speak English, and you have
Wink, wink.
Robbie, who's another character that speaks really good English and Japanese. And literally, they're connected at the hip, and they sat in their trailer together, talked, went out, did their thing, came back. They were just connected at the hips. They were the two
What
J guys.
about Dai Yoshihara in blues?
I don't think Dai has the personality for Kristaps.
But he had a show. He has
Yeah.
a championship under his belt. You know,
But he
he's
doesn't-
obviously extremely talented as a driver. He has a
MLS
great,
motor.
I think,
great crew.
Yeah, I think.
Really smart crew people.
I just don't think they vibe.
They-
I think
exactly.
the vibe is key. I think the vibe is also key
Okay.
because you know what, Dai's not going to sit in the pits and crush beers with Kristaps and drink wine
Yeah.
like Forsberg would.
Yeah.
Kristaps crushes white wine.
Yeah, Kristaps.
He also drinks a beer.
Yeah,
Never
but and you know, Dai's more of like Dai would
Hey, he's a
need.
family man now.
Dai
and
would need a
stuff, yeah.
Kaufman. Dai would need more of kind of like a mellow guy that has some good resources, but they can kind of sit back and just
Dai and Gushi.
Dai and Gushi. That could work too.
I
Once
think
again, they have
that'd
a
be-
great
that's a great
relationship. They
team,
have.
They're both,
Team
year
Falcon
one.
now,
Yeah.
and you know, Ken's working on some stuff for next year too to come back and drive. So
Yeah, Ken, I've always felt like, he's just showed incredible ability from the very first year of Formula Drift and just needed to be, just it's something he still has it. Like, I feel like we still haven't seen everything we could from Ken. I believe there's something more we could see from him.
I think we started seeing Ken at St. Louis when he said, "I'm just here to shake up the points," and he was the first one of the year that said that because he was so far behind in points. But him being more vocal about that was
Yeah.
super cool. But that's Ken as a character. That's him. The other thing too that didn't get aired yet, so I'm hoping it's gonna be aired on TV. So I was hanging out with Gucci in the pits before the event
His
weekend
interview.
even started, and I'm like, so hey, how you feeling? What's the game plan? He's like, dude, I'm feeling good. Da 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 da. And we started just hanging out talking shit, and then we started talking about Pokemon. Right, because he's addicted to Pokemon Go. Like, he wears the Pokemon Go bracelet everywhere he goes, and he just hit level 40 on Pokemon Go, which is like a limited amount of people in the world that has hit level 40 on Pokemon Go. So I was like, dude, well, Goosh, I'm like, when you go live with Lorette, you should go up there and be like, hey guys, do you know what? This event has been awesome. We advanced from top 32, top 16. I've had a lot of weight off my shoulders coming in this round. Things are just getting better. I finally hit level 40 on Pokemon Go. I'm less stressed, less worried. And he did it. He did it, but he did it on the live TV broadcast. So at the end, at the end of the interview, or at the end of the race,
taping,
Lorette runs up and the live camera crew runs up. Usually the camera crew
Corey,
goes first. What's up?
How would you feel if you're hanging out with him, then all of a sudden he Zapdos pants off and get a Pikachu?
I'd probably sit there and do a Snorlax or something. Take a nap. Would you take a Mewtwo at it if you were there?
You know, I would just slip him one of those drowsies, and then I would char his Zard.
Yeah, I'd probably
good.
crop dust them with a Ghastly and then hunt her out of there.
It's very effective.
Yeah. But anyways, he did it, and he did it on the TV version. So the TV version won't be out for like another month or so. So I'm hoping
that's pretty cool, though.
he explains the stress of the round prior to the round with the Pokemon stuff. And so if you guys see that, please comment on Gucci and just let him know that now that he's hit level 40, going into Irwindale was so much easier.
They should
Less
send
stress
him
and
a
less
badge or
worries.
something.
Yeah, I know.
Something also new this season. I mean, since we're talking about teams.
Hold on,
and-
before we
oh,
get away from the teams, Corey, who are you going to give your rose to?
Give my rose to?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like The Bachelor. Or
Like The
whatever,
Bachelor,
where you
so-
give someone a rose.
So would I pick my teammate?
Yeah.
Yeah. If they can't say no, like once you put the rose in their hands, they're like,
That's
"All right."
it. Merit.
And so it could be anybody he wants.
I would love to be. I would love to be with an Osbo.
Team Rockstar.
Because the thing is that I lack technical knowledge.
Driver skill.
I lack
the
truck and trailer.
The looks.
I
mean, your jawline is
no, but
not
so what they have is they have such a precise running, organized team that has countless years of experience. I would say this year's been my best year with my team, that I've been working with Keith and all those guys. Keith formerly at America, but I think we are always learning and progressing, and I would say Papadakis is probably at the top of the game as far as being the wizard of drifting, especially being able to take a car that has not been proven in any type of motorsports to be almost nearly a championship winning team. So that's what my team lacks. My team lacks that side of the mechanicalism, the design.
Because he's also a genius at stretching the budget.
Because he does a lot of the work himself.
Yeah, exactly. And he doesn't have like a gigantic trailer with, it's just.
So here's the other thing too, with Papadakis' team that really impresses me is when they design and create a car, it's designed and created for one thing, right? So when they were building that car, every piece had a purpose and a reason, but they made it as simple and easy possible to add and remove. So I think when they design a car, they look at all aspects before they create it. Right, obviously removing and taking out a motor, they do it in I think they said just over an hour, from taking a broken motor out, putting the new one in, plumbed, fueled, fluids, ran, start within an hour. I don't think a lot of people. Well, now it's getting more popular, but they're actually looking at, okay, what can we do when we have 5 minutes? What can we do in 5 minutes? So design every piece as if we only have 5 minutes to work on it, and I think that's what he has an expertise in. So for me, it's linking up with somebody that has that knowledge. It's like, let's make this car as simple and effective and as fast and easy to work on as possible without overcomplicating it. And that'd be my biggest thing, is linking up with somebody like him. But if I wanted to have fun all season and party super hard, Peter. Yeah.
You and Peter would be the best.
Yeah, that'd be my, like, if we're going to do some party seasons, Waycheck would be my dude to go to for sure. If I wasn't worried about winning it.
He's one funny individual.
What track would you go streaking on him with first?
I would probably go to the Nerdburglar.
The Nerdburglar ring?
Yeah.
Do some windmills?
Yeah.
But I don't mean with your arms.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll do helicopters, actually.
Yeah, but I heard that he's got a unit, so he's probably doing windmills. You're probably doing... That's what you're doing, like little propeller hats?
Yeah. Yep. Well, we said... Peter, once again, the fun side of Peter... is he's probably one of the craziest dudes I've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
I would say he's one of the craziest dudes we ever met. We did see a picture of him. Where was he hitchhiking at, Sam? What track was that?
I don't know.
He was naked hitchhiking at a road course with a race car going by, literally ass cheeks out, race car flying by with his thumb out, and his big, Goldilocks flowing in the wind, butt naked at a track in Europe hitchhiking on a racetrack. But that'd be my ideal teammate if I wanted to go out there and just make a scene. But yeah, so those are my two. And I think Dean's a perfect fit for him too, because James Dean is an animal in his own sense as well.
Yeah.
Paco, before we get to the point that you were saying before, so rudely interrupted with a Corey Rose comment, our buddy Jacob Gettins just reminded us, now that we're in the off-season, this is what qualifies as breaking news. Did you guys see that T-Pain wrapped his car like Pickle Rick from Rick and Morty?
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, it's pretty,
and the wing,
breaking news.
The wing is Mr. Meeseeks.
Look at me.
Look at me.
But also, I think Pickle Rick also says, look at me. He's like, hey, look at me.
I'm Pickle Rick, motherfucker.
That was really good.
No apologies. Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. I mean, actually, I don't know exactly where is he going at, but it looks like he's out there to have fun.
Corey, are you still tweeting him every day?
We're on text terms. He actually was sending me pictures of Pickle Rick as it was being developed.
Damn.
So he's gonna be like Pickle SX.
Yeah, and I think, do you know what? He's had who did he have? Comedy Central was posting about it too. So once again, you have a guy like T-Pain who's going outside of the drifting community and looking for resources to bring in. Pickle Rick, Comedy Central sponsored car. That's pretty freaking cool. That's
yeah.
I think it's gonna have to just be called Pickle Richard, for professional terms.
Pickle Rick?
Pickle Richard.
What about Pickle Dick?
What about Pickle Pain?
Pickle Pain.
Pickle Pain?
Yeah.
Well, that's what T-Pain actually stands for. It's
Tickle the
pain
pig.
is short
Tickle the
for-
Pickle Pain.
Tickle Pain.
Yeah, Tickle Pain.
So So back
What
to
were you
Formula
saying, Paco?
Drift. Yeah, so okay, so we have a lot of ideas for teams and stuff. This year we also had a few new cars. The cars they're never seen drift competition.
Yep.
And I think like with every new car except the ones that come from Papadakis Racing,
Right.
they all seem to have some issues. So the first time we had a Ferrari, fucking professional Formula Drift, twin supercharged Ferrari, and also we had a Cadillac. I think that was it as far as like new cars that have never seen professional drifting.
Yep.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but Federico and Papadakis, they seem very like talky. You know, so
But really, everyone's kind of said it too. Is they know that Fede can drive well in a non-gigantic, weird, undeveloped car. So I'd be curious. I really want to see what he would do in a more developed platform, or just see Fiorella. I can never say it like he does it.
Fiorella.
Yeah, that's pretty good. If he could just develop that in a way that makes it competitive, because just like watching it at the watching her, excuse me,
Yeah.
at the big transition at Irwindale, it just moves so slow, like side to
Yeah.
side.
He was telling me that they're planning to make her lose like an extra 200 pounds
Hmm.
and try to crank the power even a little bit more.
He was having heating problems in Irwindale, like really bad.
And then he went back to the factory supercharged gears and all that stuff. Like
Did he
that's-
put it back?
Yeah, he put him back because apparently I think that's what it was causing the heating. Like
Oh,
there
well, he
was,
went
like,
from...
yeah, from like I mean, he was making a lot of power, but I think that car can still be more properly developed. Maybe like with I guess with the input of more Formula Drift Pro seasoned drivers, and I mean, it just seems to me that there might be some talks with Papadakis. I mean,
Yeah, if anybody was going to be, if somebody could take a Corolla, convert it to rear-wheel drive, and practically win a championship with,
Yeah.
I think he could take a Ferrari and do something pretty incredible.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people wanted to talk to Papadakis.
Yeah.
'Cause he is,
What's
excuse me,
his-
Mama Kiss, because
Yeah.
he is maybe the best drift car builder right now. So I mean,
Yeah,
he's,
but even outside of that,
he's
like,
the guy to talk to.
Turk did well with Unicorn Garage. Turk
Yeah.
had a very simplistic team this year, and it seems like he was able to keep his motor together and
Yeah.
not, blow the bottom end out of it every round. And
Yeah, Turk had a very good year. He's always disappointed whenever he doesn't win. And
Yeah,
he
he
hasn't had
finished-
to win a long
he
time.
finished
well, that's
sixth.
Well, so I talked to
Yeah.
finish sixth this year.
Sixth.
Yeah, and that's the thing
Yeah.
is I went over
They
and
had a
talked
great
to
year.
Brian at Unicorn Garage actually on the first day, and they're running a very simplistic. Him and Forsberg both are running a very simplistic nitrous system where it's not directed into the throttle body or the throttle bar, or where it's not injected to. It's not independently fed like
Like
You
a-
mean
Dean's,
into
right?
those? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
just
not.
a single
It's a
nozzle.
single nozzle right in front of the throttle body, and it's about 100 shot.
Wet shot, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a fogger, a dry fogger.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that the same
wet.
thing? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
wet.
yeah. So there's my nitrous wizard.
Knowledge.
I just learned about this recently, too.
Yeah, so because you're the
Yeah.
Nitrous Express guy.
Yeah.
No, because I was asking them like, your nitrous system looks very simplistic, and they're like, yeah, this is like we're going back to the kind of PSI days where it was very simplistic. Their anti-lag setup, they're like, dude, our anti-lag setup this year has been super simple, and that it wasn't overly complicated like it was the year or two prior, and that's a big piece to what where they were going through turbos and going through engine components because the anti-lag that they used to run was very, very aggressive. So they simplified that. They were kind of showing me how they moved some things around in the engine bay too. That once again, back to the simplicity and saying, "Hey, we have 5 minutes. Let's work on this as much as we can." And it kind of worked out for him really well, especially finishing sixth in the championship this year, better than he's ever have. But watching them operate, it seems a lot more calm and comfortable.
Corey, you sound like you're pretty eager to take a wet shot in your 72 millimeter body.
I'll take it. I'll take a wet shot into my body. So, yeah.
But yeah, like, so what I was going with is, like we had a couple new cars. Next season seems like there will be a new car. Hopefully we'll see a new Supra. It's not confirmed.
Probably a couple of them, maybe.
Yeah, but what else you guys think we will see?
I bet that this was the last year we're going to see a Viper
That's it.
for a while. I bet Carney's
I
out.
think
in the
so.
Viper. I think he just talking to him. He seems mentally done with that car. I think he wants a more simplistic setup after seeing how his boys.
Something
were
with
doing.
less cylinders.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a twin turbo V10.
V10.
Crazy turbo manifolds. Everything's jam packed. The hood of that car is like 10 feet long.
I mean, it's still a Viper. It's still a freaking expensive.
well, that
car.
tail light up there, he tells us every tail light he breaks, it's $600 or something that he's paying out of pocket. And because Mopar Dodge is not, spending much resource into it, so he's like, well, screw this. If I'm going to have to buy the parts anyways,
Yeah.
let's
And
get
we
something a
saw
little
him,
bit cheaper, and that's proven.
And we saw him on Forrest's car, and he looked
Oh,
solid. You know,
He- The thing is where I think the Viper shine is over in Europe. Obviously, when he did Goodwood and IDC, people have never seen anything like that, and so there's a big draw to it. You
Yeah,
could
it's
do
definitely
more,
a very cool car.
it would definitely be a more of a unique car over there where he would get more benefits shipping the cars over like he did. He did drift shifters in it. He had a lot of success with the car in Europe, but I think here it's a much different level.
different kind of show.
Yeah, it's a much different thing. So he did great with it. Him and Sammy Hubinette created a relationship which got it started. He did his piece with it. He's finished on the podium with it. But I think now it's like you can't just finish it on the podium once in 3 years. You need to be on the podium much more. And if you realize the car is holding you back, and we've seen him in Force's S14, I think that's kind of the direction where we need to see him.
Because I
Nick
mean,
Swan told me that Dirk Stratton is going to go into a Ford Pinto.
so it's Stratum Ford instead of Stratum Chevrolet.
Yeah, no, he told his parents to eat butt, and he's going full
going to the
blue
dark
oval
side.
next year.
That's one of the other things. Like we've seen a lot of C6s now, and they're
Yeah, the
doing
Corvettes
good.
are very for the pretty much inaugural year of Corvettes. They did really well.
Yeah, I mean Dirk won Rookie of the Year, and Matt Field finished
got seven.
seven, which
It's
is
crazy looking at the roster right now. Matt is car 777, rank 7.
yeah,
Chelsea Denofa, car 88, rank 8.
88.
See, I told you it was scripted. Baca.
Yeah. Oh, of course. I mean, it's 100% scripted. Like they just to the letter. But I
Which
wonder.
is funny too. Quick side note is that Ryan and Jared still say like that Irwindale is such a crazy Irwindale event. Like this couldn't be scripted, but what if it is? And you
But
just
what
have
if it
really good
is?
script writers.
That's what you would say.
Yeah, you would say
Yeah.
that it's not scripted if it was scripted.
Yep. But you guys think there will be any C7 Corvettes?
Eventually,
No, like next season.
next.
I forgot that those guys are both in C6s.
Well, what if Dean
Yeah.
Dean Kearney went to a C7 Corvette or a C6?
I don't think it
Corvette?
will break the recipe that they have going on right now. It's always. I hope they
What do you
change
mean?
livery though, because like two years in a row the exact same livery.
Who?
The Worthouse.
No, I'm talking about Dean Kearney.
Oh, I thought you said.
Now
James
that
Dean.
it's gutting out of the Viper into a Corvette, do you think that's something he would consider?
I mean, I don't know because does Dean has a relationship with Dodge and Mopar?
He does, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's just they're putting too much resource into it.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder if there will be any conflict
No,
of interest.
I don't think there would be.
So, like, if there was, he would only be able to choose a Dodge then as his next car if it wasn't the Viper.
Sam, were you hinting him getting out of a Dodge completely?
I think that's just what I'm picturing. I think that car has kind of run its course for him, but I don't again have any insider info. I just couldn't see that.
I would say yes, he would get out of a Dodge.
He's literally getting out of Dodge.
And I think he
Get
would be.
out of Dodge.
I think he would
Very
be.
good.
I think he'd be in something that's been tested and proven. I think his Irish teammates have talked him into
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, 100%.
well, I mean, and
it
there's
sounds like you're implying an S15 car.
I'm not saying anything, but I
Yeah.
think he's surrounded by really good influences, and they're probably, kicking him in the nuts every time they
Yeah.
see him when he hops in this big old boat. Which I sat in that car, and the visibility is absolutely terrible. It's not a very.
It's still a
He doesn't
convertible.
feel like a
Yeah.
very comfortable car to get in and drive and say, "All right, suit up and go," and you're in this little.
Yeah, I forgot when you mentioned earlier that he drove Forrest S14 at New Jersey, was it? And he drove really well. It was cool to see him in a capable car.
Yeah.
Not that he hasn't proven the Viper to be capable at times, but it's just it was cool to see him in a smaller, more manageable car.
Yeah.
Yeah, with very limited time to set it up his way. It's not even probably what he would do. If he had his own car with more
Side
time.
note to all that, speaking about switching cars, Alec Honadell posted a picture that he's releasing a new car this year,
Yeah,
and it's obvious what it is.
Yeah.
It's a BMW.
I didn't see. It's a
Yeah,
BMW. What kind of BMW?
It looks like E46.
Mm-hmm.
So Honadell will be an E46, and it looks like it probably is going to be running a very similar engine package to what he has the previous year, which has been tested and proven and has much success for him.
I mean, pretty much a Alex Hildebrand.
Yeah, it looks like a very Hillebrand-ish, very style.
Hildebrand.
Hellbrun. Yeah, you guys are always so bad at that name.
Well, I was confusing with the Hildebrand. So Alex Hildebrand. Pretty much similar, right? V8,
supercharged V8, yeah, Magnuson.
I think that car is a proven platform. I mean, as a platform itself, regardless of the engine.
I think I think the BMW chassis are slowly replacing 240s. Yeah. Obviously, 240s have been kind of going extinct right now.
Yeah, I wonder what advantage that car has other than 10 years newer suspension geometry and all that.
I looked into that a little bit, and one of the things I saw in a video that is particular with German cars is that their chassis is where the magic is at a lot of times. So like the way that the chassis is built, maybe not the engine or the electronics, but something how they manufacture the body seems to be different in some way, like in a way that really works well with the car. For maintaining the best road feel and the best control of the weight, where the weight is placed in the car when they build it from the chassis starting.
Right. And now BMW products are getting. I just wish BMW had more interest in the sport. You know what I mean? Like it really put a bad taste in my mouth when they asked ESSA to remove the badges on the car.
Yeah,
don't promote drift. Don't promote BMWs in the slide. And it's like that's my only downfall I have with. And then they pay Forsberg to go do a commercial drifting around.
It's the biggest hypocritical thing that a company has ever done.
And
in motorsports,
I think
in my opinion.
it would be BMW's next big interest if they actually put an effort into it and actually support it.
I think what BMW wants is that if they want a BMW car there, they want them to be on their own terms. So I don't think they're not interested on BMW's being on drifting. I just think they want to be 100% in control. So they want to have the right BMW with the right power plant,
driver of their choice.
Yeah, driver of their choice. And
well, ESSA was that candidate. He had the M50, whatever. I think.
Yeah, but it was already an old.
But it was, engine. Once again, BMW. Everything from he would be the best candidate, and they asked him to do it.
The thing is, like by then, like the M3 was already, like they already went through a V8, and then they, I'm just saying, I can see BMW being more interested on like bringing like a brand new car, brand new engine, brand new technology.
Well, Julian Simmons mentions a good point. He goes, "For God's sakes, Ferrari's more willing to step into drifting than BMW at this point."
Yeah,
and even that's what Federico said. Federico is like, he goes to the Ferrari plant and talks with Ferrari, and they support him. And
they're excited about it.
And the thing is that he was mentioning, he's like, you got to realize these Italian car designers, it's like walking on eggshells. You got to go in there and take a knee and say, hey, please give. And they have to literally bless you to allow you to use that car in that fashion.
They both speak Ferrari, so they just kind of start yelling, like, I need an engine. And they're like, but you suck. And they're like, I don't suck. The car suck. They just go at each other. And then, and then everybody's happy.
They have some wine and, everybody's happy.
But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it was literally like he's saying, it's like, it's a very fragile conversation. You got to be like, hey, are you cool with me sliding your car around and putting it against the wall? Are you okay with me redesigning suspension components? Are you? And they're just like, yes, please.
So you're very right in that, and that's very good of Ferrari to do that. And when Paco was bringing up the point about the BMW, obviously the best choice is the Z4, Z4 Supra. Like BMW bringing that.
The Z4, ESSA used to run a Z3, Z4.
No, I'm talking about the new one because the Supra, the Z4 Pro, whatever you want to call it.
But yeah, isn't it like a Toyota based? It's still a Toyota based.
It's a BMW chassis, isn't it?
Well, I don't think there's a BMW stamp on it. I know that they have associated with that
the new
BMW.
Supra?
Yeah.
It
like
does.
How,
it's kind of it's like
again,
the
some Lamborghinis, like the Gallardo has Audi belt buckles. Like Audi supported,
but
a lot of
Audi
the same
owns
brand.
Lamborghini. Pretty much the only Lambo thing about it is the engine.
Right. So you don't see any Audi. They never promote as an Audi. That's why I don't think BMW would ever promote the Supra as a BMW based car or step behind it.
But would they? So BMW is releasing a Z4, a new Z4, right? Like around
I'm
the same
not sure.
time. That's that. I thought that's what was happening.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It might be. I don't know.
They are releasing the Z4 somewhat concurrently with the new Supra.
Like how the new Miata and the Fiat, kind of like that.
Because
deal.
we've seen this, for example, the Mercedes SLK and the Chrysler Crossfire. Exactly the same car, even though they look totally different. They had the same, even the same dashboards. And from what I've heard, they're doing the same. Like the same.
They used Tesla's ones, at least the ones that Osbo and Gucci were driving, had the same interior as the BMWs.
Same with what's it called, the Miata and the Fiat,
Fiat,
they have the same dashboard, the same door. Like they're different cars. Yeah, they're different. The power plants, they're the same thing. I mean, but at the end of the day, they do feel different, and that's what matters. Like at the end of the day, who cares where the platform was built? I mean,
Subaru BRZ, the FRS, same thing.
But it's definitely one of those things that like a lot of hardcore Supra fans don't want. Like the whole
that relationship there.
Well, they don't want their beloved Japanese Supra monster car to be a BMW. Like this happened with Mini like a long time ago when Mini Cooper was acquired by BMW and they made the recent Mini Cooper. Like all the British Mini fans, they were like, "That's not a Mini. That's a BMW. We don't want it."
It's a regular sized car now.
Yeah, it's a
regular.
Well,
Cooper.
Even when Porsche
when
Porsche made the 996 and had the funky headlights, all the Porsche peers were like, "Oh, the headlights," because they used to come up and then they ovaled. That's why in the 997 they went back to the oval headlights because it's the traditional Porsche style. So, these guys are very meticulous and picky on styling of the car. I just wish, once again, going back to BMW, I wish they had more interest and invested more in the sport because I would love to see a Nissan versus BMW versus Mustang, Ford versus
a real
Chevy.
manufacturer's championship.
And it's stupid, but people like to compare NASCAR to Formula Drift or Formula. I would love manufacturers to invest a quarter of what they put in NASCAR into drifting and how cool the sport would be at this point to have some backings.
Who won the manufacturers championship
Toyota.
this year?
Toyota.
But I was just looking at that. So that's Frederick Osbo. That's
Castro.
Turk. That's
Turk.
Gucci. That's
Castro.
Castro. And then I'm looking at like the Nissan points. So James is 1. Peter is 3. I guess the nearest Nissan is 9 by Odie, 12 by Force. So it's probably pretty close. I don't really know the numbers, but then Honadale 15th. But I want to see on the topic of cars. I really wish we could see Mohan in like an FD RX-7 or maybe an RX-8 or something. Because that Miata just doesn't seem to work with him. I wish to see him be better.
Well, that was something we actually talked about some time ago with Kyle Moen and his relationship to Mazda, is bringing in a rear-wheel drive Mazda Speed 3. The Mazda Speed 3s are super sexy, too.
But that takes a Papadakis level.
Not necessarily.
The only person on the
Not
planet that could do
necessarily
that,
because
though.
those cars actually come with all-wheel drive.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it might be. It would be a lot easier.
The Mazda Speed 3s?
The Mazda platform offers, I think the 6 comes all-wheel drive. The Mazda Speed 6 is all-wheel drive, and you can like straight up bolt that subframe. So I mean, it could be the 6 instead of the 3. The point is, like, I mean, it's doable, and
anything's doable with time and
it could
money,
still be
Pablo.
Mazda, and it could still be
what I was saying
rotary.
was for the sake of not getting him in a weird, tiny, not easily driftable car. Like I want to see what he does in a regular, knowing good car, like a FD.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, a badass
I think
FD would be really nice to see
Mohan
again.
did say he's going to get out of the Miata next year.
Did he?
Yep. And I'm going to just say that out there. Sorry, but
These are the secrets I need to know.
Yeah, no, I think he is. He's for sure is. He proposed. Actually asked me.
He proposed to you?
He proposed. He got on
Finally,
one knee and he goes.
Kyle.
He goes, "Hey, what chassis should I run if I have these two? What do you think?" And I think he was talking to.
Because you're such a fucking pro.
No, I'm not a pro at all. But I liked. I would try to give insight because if somebody goes, "Hey, what should I run? Should I run an S13 or should I run a
Buick Riata
or 350Z or 370Z?" And then it's like, okay, well let's break that down. Why? I may not be an expert. It's like, okay, let's see where your resources are at and what relationships you have with what companies. Because I say that would probably be your easiest decision. And then also look at the marketability behind the car. So there's like 3 phases of things you look at before you select a car. Not just car looks cool, let's select it. You can't do that. You have to say, okay, well, I may select the coolest car, but then I'm going to be spending $10 million on like a Viper. I would love to drift a Viper, but realistically, it doesn't make sense for me to drift a Viper because I don't have any relationships with anybody to get any of those parts. But if it's like, once again, like an S13, S14, S15, or a 350, 370Z, it's once again, that's when you have to sit down and discuss. All right, let's break this down now. What do we got here? What do we got here? What do we got here?
That you name too. It's all the first cars off the top of your head, and that's just because the market just has presented itself for so much for that. But what other chassis besides Nissan would have at least a close to that level of support?
What chassis
Can you
outside of Nissan?
imagine how much everyone would lose their minds if Nissan was like, "What's up, bitches? We've been secretly developing this thing for the last 5 years. S16 coming down hot, rear-wheel drive, lightweight, cheap, 230 horsepower, inline-four, turbocharged motor, 250. Got to call it 250 now. Can you imagine if they just dropped that? Everyone would lose their minds.
Yeah,
Yep.
then they'll tease us that and then not do it and release another Juke.
But instead,
I know,
instead
but
they
that's what I'm
give
saying
us a
is what if
juke.
they actually did do it this time instead of just being like, you know what, the kids want the Juke, and to be honest, the Juke probably sold better than the S16 ever would. But it's not about sales; it's about heart,
Yeah.
spirit.
Well, I have a car that I hope I can see next season. It's a Kia Stinger.
Oh,
I don't
gosh,
think we
you're
will.
right. You're absolutely right.
I don't think we will, but
I don't think it will, but I mean, think about
Yeah.
this. Kia is doing a lot of.
They could pique an
they're-
interest in it.
They're trying to. They're definitely trying to
Someone-
inject themselves into the culture.
Hear me out. What if someone took a Stinger motor and put in a Forte and made it rear-wheel drive?
I never heard such thing.
It would be crazy if someone
Right.
did. Anyways, moving on.
Moving
on. We can't talk about all of the exciting things in the first episode of the off season because then we'll just have nothing to talk about for the next 20 weeks. But I was looking at some of the Instagram questions. Yeah.
let's get on those.
Iron Dookie.
Well,
with a
before I was gonna
fire.
say
He's-
before we move on to the questions, just for example, Corey, what do you have for next year?
What do I have for next year?
Like at least like real quick.
It's season or it's week one of the off season.
No, but we're planning. I've been planning since
I
St.
just
Louis.
think I guess we could
Um,
end on a banger.
No. So I bought another S14 shell today. Yeah, I bought George Marsanovic's S14.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he posted. He had one that he developed
Yeah.
a lot of the Maverick stuff off. So he's like, I have a shell here. Just
Chilling.
give me a couple bucks for it and get it out of here. So it's like, okay, I would
just
like
give
to
him $1.
build that correctly at the level that Papadakis would, where I'd like to get it dipped, stitch welded, get it done right. And that's one thing that, like, I talked to Jason at PSI about. What's our weakest link right
Yeah.
now? And he mentioned the chassis is not built the way it should be. We should really put some emphasis on that. Even though I felt really comfortable in the car, I think once again I want a proper Christoph
You want that to be your
HGK.
party car?
Yeah, so my
Or,
car now is
your
going to be my
current car. is
my
your
current
party
car is
car.
going to be party car. But Gridlife's absolutely 150%.
Yeah.
We're going to be locked in with that, and they have Gridlife's going to do some cool announcements at SEMA, so you guys should be seeing that. We'll do some partying. Like I made a post a while ago that I want to go back out there and drive again and compete. I just have to see what we do for next year. I would love to get back in Pro 2. I would
Team
would
up.
love to do a full season of Pro 2. I've been trying. I only did one
Good
round.
that you're actually hungry though, because you haven't been hungry.
I
know
am-
you
no,
you
I
built
haven't-
the car and all that, but you weren't hungry.
No, because I didn't know where I would stand. I had no idea where I would
You're always-
stand.
you're
I
always
had
Team up with Chris Stops.
and like I said, driving with those guys and like those guys, like, dude, you can go do this. It was crazy because after Gridlife, like literally all those guys come up and like, and why are you not doing this again? And that was kind of motivating, and it started the again. It
Well,
started
people
the,
wants to see you drive. I mean, that's definitely that's a thing.
Do you think you'd ever ask Forsberg to be your teammate?
I would. Again,
Are you okay with
but you know what? I
comebacks?
did the whole teammate thing almost before everybody else.
Yeah, you
True.
did. You're one of the first. So
Yeah.
and Sam filmed it.
Yeah, Sam documented
did.
it.
It's all documented. Desert Mayhem.
Desert Mayhem. I'll be driving Desert Mayhem too
Corey?
with the party car for sure. And that's in like
We just announced that Forrest Wang is coming Desert Mayhem.
Yep.
December 1st and 2nd. So I guess it's official.
yeah,
Corey.
I'll be at Desert Mayhem.
Corey,
I wish-
next guest driver, Desert Mayhem.
Yeah.
2 days.
I wish I could get my car together and then show.
We thought
show
your car
Forrest
was
who the
together,
real-
Sam. What's
Show
missing?
Forrest who the real king of the S chassis is.
Yeah, that'd be great if you did.
It's not me. It's him.
You should totally bring your car, man.
It's not working. I need to get it together. It's mostly working.
Get it working.
I want to. I'd like to.
Do
It's
it.
gonna happen.
Do it.
Hey Sam, we just got attention brought to us right now. This is breaking news.
Mhm.
Our dear friend Silas just said we just hit our $200 Patreon goal, which
Woo,
means
what's that mean?
that means Paco will have to speak Spanish an entire episode.
Holy shit.
What, are you trying to say nobody's going to understand me? I thought
Uh,
nobody understood me
understand me
already,
already.
So what's the difference?
Oh no. I
Awesome!
forgot-
Once again,
I
thank you
forgot about
guys.
those Patreon.
Thank you
goals.
guys for being the Patreons.
Pointing
You
that
guys
out.
helped us got through the season. Hopefully, you enjoyed all the content creator footage and things like that, as well as the halftime show and all that, because you guys did help so much getting us all around. So
This is gonna be so good because Paco's gonna have to speak Spanish. I'm gonna do my best to type it into Google Translate, and then of course
Subtitles.
I can just read it incorrectly anyways, and just make believe what I think he says.
I'm gonna try to find a way to do subtitles. As soon as when I'm speaking, I'm just gonna
have it pop up on the screen.
Type on the screen. We'll see that.
You should
really
have
help.
Big Balls translate for you. You're
fluent. No, he's flatulent.
Little Spanish.
Perfect.
I can speak Mas Grande Espanol.
I can speak Mongolian.
Samuel.
Oh gosh. All right,
Samuelito.
Paco, give me a tester.
All right.
Entonces, el Corvette 2JZ que estoy construyendo va a estar listo para Sema en 2019.
Sí.
I'm going to build a 2JZ Corvette for my grandmother and a pack of squirrels to live in.
Go ahead. Keep going. I'll translate the next one.
Hi, Corey. Va a tener volante del lado derecho y va a tener suspensión de Wisefab de 246 al frente.
I went deep sea fishing with my Uncle Richard, and he tried touching my penis before I casted my line out.
I'm impressed.
I heard Wisefab.
Oh yeah, and Wisefab was on the boat. They forgot to ship it.
That's what I used to defend myself. Wisefab, I'm like,
That'll hurt.
My Uncle Richard took me out deep sea fishing.
And he tried touching my penis before I casted my line
wonderful.
out. See, I didn't know. You guys didn't think I knew Spanish, but little did you guys know. So that's just a taste of what you guys will be experiencing.
Yeah, this is going to be some hot off-season.
Oh, God.
is this going to be next episode?
Full disclosure, it could be. Full disclosure, I don't think we can do an episode next week because Corey and I will both be at SEMA. We'll probably do some live shit from SEMA at some point, but we'll both be at SEMA, so I don't know if that'll work out. So I might have to do another week out, but we'll figure it out.
Sam and I will go live at SEMA too, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think what we're just gonna do is, like, since I'm probably not gonna be able to make it, so Brian and I are just gonna play video games.
Why don't you just drive out for one day and be
Play
done?
Forza.
We'll play Forza for sure.
Yeah.
No, I don't think
Well, why
there's
don't
people
you
like that.
come down to SEMA on Thursday night and go to the Gridlife party where Corey and I will be emceeing a full, awesome digital version of Gridlife with a ton of video games.
That's all Brian stuff right there, man.
That's the thing I'm going to miss the most. And
Why don't
it
you guys
really
just
sucks.
go?
I can't.
Just go. It's
Dude,
like a
I have
5-hour
to-
drive. It's
I
a
have a
90-hour
real
plane
job,
ride.
but Brian hasn't taken vacation time, so he should take vacation time and go.
Thursday, Friday. Come up Thursday, Friday.
When is this Gridlife thing?
It's Thursday
Thursday
night.
night, 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. at the
next week.
Luxor.
And if you
Next
want to
that-
get on the EA Sports Arena, Brian, and play on the Jumbotron in a simulator, you can do that.
It's like the best esports arena in the world. Chris Stewart is bringing us in. It's going to be an awesome. It's pretty much it's the West Coast Gridlife, but without cars in the flesh. It is going to be cars in the internet.
You guys, Paco,
Dude,
why can't you go?
Because I have a lot of work.
Shut up!
And
That's
you don't
a
work
fucking
that
lie.
hard.
I have a
You
real
build-
job, Corey. You forget
SEMA
about
only
that.
comes around.
Once a year, and right on Halloween.
I've never been to SEMA.
You just go to the Gridlife thing. So Gridlife, obviously Chris Stewart being a crazy wizard mastermind that thinks of all these crazy things.
He's a level 19 dungeon master.
He's a definitely a level 19 warlord. And he's like, do you know what? Okay, I want to do something fun for SEMA, but I just don't want to have a booth at SEMA. We can do something fun. And so the story is everybody throws these crazy pre-parties and after-parties at these nightclubs with crazy DJs, and it's super loud music and things like that. But the EA Sports, which is the premier EA Sports arena in the world, didn't get rented out. Nobody thought about anything. He's like, if this venue is fucking sitting here and it's the premier venue in the world,
That's where I'd be.
and what he did is he fucking rented the whole thing out. And so now he's doing the Gridlife game battle.
I'm excited.
And it's from 8 p.m. till midnight. And he says he has 6 simulators. So he's going to...
And the whole place is full of arcade games, too.
Yeah,
It's not
and there's
just
gonna be
the
arcade
Sims. It's gonna
games
have classic
everywhere.
racing games and Flip Cup.
And so, and they're having Flip Cup there. So it's a virtual Gridlife experience. So you can literally go up and drive one of the Gridlife courses on the Jumbotrons while having competitions.
Are they going to have Killer Mike holograms?
Yep.
And they'll have that.
Okay.
And Andrew WK. Every
WK
person that's ever
hologram?
performed at a Gridlife is going to be a hologram there, and they're going to be beating you at Flip Cup.
Nice.
So,
And I think, Brian, if you go, you should appear as your alter ego, 8-Bit Brian.
What? No.
no.
Yeah,
No.
like, you know.
I'll show up. I'll show up as me.
Boring.
The driver goes with the car. When the car's in, the driver will be.
Can I read you guys Iron Dookie's Instagram
Please.
comment now?
Yeah, please.
Does France have a drifting scene? Is it called Formula Lay Drift?
What?
We.
Oui. That is.
Le Drift.
If this is, once again, if any of you are bummed about the
Le
off-season here and worried that we wouldn't still be throwing fire, Dookie is just really reinforcing the fact that this is the most top-quality podcast and top-quality community in
for
the
sure.
drifting world.
Well, Macho Man Randy Sanchez was right behind him with another great question, saying, "Does spicy chicken come from mean chickens?" Which,
It's a Latin chickens.
you know, it's just angry chickens create spice. So this spicy chicken is
Yeah.
from angry chickens, which is great. That's great knowledge, and that's why I don't eat them.
Aaron Osebi, username I Shot Dad.
I saw
Mary-
him at
yeah.
Hot Wheels Legends tour.
Oh,
Nice.
well, good for you, Sam.
Why do you have to be that way?
I know.
That's a
right?
question for you. That's a question from Dongo Dingo 69420XX. Paco, why you have to be that way all the time?
I was born this way.
Answer in
All
Spanish.
right, cool. All right, what did Aaron say?
All right, so Aaron says, Mary fuck kill the rounds of FD.
Ooh, Aaron.
So
I
Sam,
would
that's a swing.
marry Irwindale because
Yes.
she always delivers.
Okay.
I would probably fuck Wall because she's freaky and a little bit trashy.
Okay.
And I would obviously kill Florida.
Yes. God damn it. So my only switch, I would marry Irwindale. I would kill Florida, and I'd probably fuck Atlanta because there's a lot of bad motherfuckers out there.
Yeah, she's long and
She's
goes
long
deep.
and hard
Well,
and fast.
I
long,
would
hard, and fast.
I would marry Long Beach.
Okay, that's
because
a good one.
fine.
Fun.
Yep, Long
and
Beach
that,
sets
you know,
the
is
bar.
guarantee found forever.
Yep.
But she's only around 1 week a year and then she disappears.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, but also the rounds that you kill. Once you kill them, they're done.
Yeah, no one wants. Sorry, Florida.
Okay, so probably kill Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm definitely I'll have fun at with Atlanta. I
Have
love
fun?
that. Yeah, I'll fuck Atlanta.
Make Whoopi. Why?
Brian.
You heard
What?
it here first, people from Atlanta. Paco said, "Fuck Atlanta." You guys are happy.
And they have
Hope
lemon
you-
pepper.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
dude,
when
my
I mean
favorite.
when I said fuck, it's like, you know, like I'm fucking with Atlanta. Like that's how we roll. Give
I
me that
forget who it
lemon
was,
pepper
but,
chicken.
someone actually in Facebook this weekend was like, "I'm in Atlanta. Where'd you get those wings?" And I told him, and he went. And then I immediately got hungry for lemon pepper wings, and then I looked all over LA to see if anyone would Postmates to deliver. None open, none existing. I found some dry lemon pepper yesterday and ate them from a wing place right across from race service. It was pretty good, but it's just like knowing what exists and
Yeah.
isn't here.
Dude,
just hurts.
I found a place here in Phoenix called ATL Wings.
ATL?
But it's not wet.
It's like yeah, and I went there and like, you know, like it was authentic.
It's still great.
No, it was like it's so authentically owned and operated. And I asked him like, "Hey guys, do you have lemon pepper wet?" And they looked weird at me, like, like what? I felt so stupid. Like I felt like I want to say I've been to
a
Atlanta. I
charade.
had him, but yeah, I don't know.
By the way, just real quick, Silas, I got to pronounce his last name. Gissender.
yeah.
Does I spell it? Gissender?
I'll have to ask him.
Silas Gissender. He was the one who put our Patreon over the top with becoming a $15 Patreon.
Oh, way, dude. Well, congrats.
Good job,
Silas.
Silas.
Sounds
Sorry, I
like
had to stop that during the Instagram because.
That's awesome. No,
Bruh,
that's
bruh.
Silas.
Thank you.
let's do
Should we
one
give
or
him
two more.
something for putting us over the top? Let's get him this. We'll give him a AM flag signed by Forsberg. We got a couple of
Yeah.
those floating around. We'll give him that.
Yep.
Thank you, Silas, for putting us over the top. You're
Thanks,
the man.
Silas.
He's a good dude.
Corey, now you actually be the one that sends it though. You got to go to the post office tomorrow.
Okay.
Question from Math the Ginge.
What the math?
Math the Ginge.
The Ginge?
What is the dumbest drift mod / trick that actually works?
I really like
I-
Vaughn's
Go ahead.
story of at the ring of zip tying the latch or the stay or the click or whatever they want to call it for the Raptor. so the e-brake doesn't lock. Like it's the equivalent. It's the equivalent of doing like the drift knob for a hand parking brake, but just like with a truck or a van
Just
or
the
whatever.
release for the pedal e-brake, right?
Yeah, you just zip tie the release thing down. That's pretty dumb and that's awesome. But there's got to be dumber out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago, Sammy Hubinet was with the Charger or the Challenger. I can't remember which one. And they put inline roller blades on the back corners of the car
Oh, I remember
to
that's
like
that way it
roll
rolled
off
along
the wheel,
wall.
off the walls. Is
Yeah.
what the idea was.
And then Odie came
Odie
with the
did
same thing, but also added a shock.
oh, that's right. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Did they make that illegal or did you just stop doing it?
I think they made it illegal because if the parts were because they're moving parts. If they broke, it put stuff on the
debris
track.
all over the track. Yeah, because you can't have aluminum bash bars anymore. They have to
And
be
fucking
steel and bolted
Oil
on.
from the
Yeah.
shocks.
Yeah, if you think about it, one of those shocks exploding, it wouldn't be good at all.
Question from Homer. Sorry, where do babies come from, Corey?
Are you a guy or a girl?
God, where do
guy.
boy babies come from?
The pee hole.
Okay, good job.
Girl.
Good answer.
Girl, pee hole.
Well,
That's
that should
logical.
cover it. This has been another segment of a Maximum Anatomy cast. Pretty much know everything.
Well, did Sam
married.
did your dad ever teach you about the birds and the bee holes?
The birds and the beeholes? Yeah, he did.
Speaking of the birds and the beeholes, there's a good question from Nathan Beek. Why is nobody sponsored by KY Jelly due to their fluidity and commitment?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you guys think that birds are real?
untapped part of the
Wasn't Danny George after his deal with Chango? Wasn't he gonna try to get like a sex shop to sponsor him?
I can't remember what.
Why he didn't? Danny, get on it.
Do you think that birds are real or they're government
I
conspiracy?
Yeah,
saw
they're-
that. They're government spy
It's a
plans.
spy.
That's one of my favorite memes going around right now. Is,
Memes?
birds being fake.
Memes.
Shut up, Sam. Nobody says it that way.
I say it that way. I do what I must. Let's wrap her up. I gotta go to bed. I'm tired.
Yeah, same.
Long week. I got to prep for Sema, but Corey and I will be there. Hopefully, we'll see you guys on the floor. Come to the Gridlife party if you're anywhere near Las Vegas, Thursday, 8 p.m.
Luxor.
Super special at the Luxor EA
Ace,
Arena.
yep.
It's crazy arena.
We're
Sure.
gonna make a post. We're gonna
Yep.
get the links and all that. So
Chris.
check,
And-
you know.
Thanks to all of our patrons, but especially today, Silas, for pushing us over
Home
200.
run.
Where on a future episode, Paco will be speaking only Spanish, and Corey
Español.
and I will be translating. And we also have our winner of the raffle, the charity raffle, the Lolo Nichols charity raffle. Do we know who that is yet?
Yep. I don't think we're allowed to say just yet, but we
Okay, but-
already know.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to do that show with a special guest host, with a guest of his choice, his or her choice, if possible. If available, that's coming up. And then just lots of more in-depth banter with lots of teams, lots of industry peeps in this off-season. But we're still going to be going weekly, still going to be going hard. However, next week we'll be at Sema, and we won't probably do a full regular show, but we'll go live on Instagram and other weird shit. So make sure to follow there. Make sure to go to the Facebook page discussion board where we talk all things drifting. It's probably one of the best spots to talk about drifting these days, if I had to say. And got to thank AM Intakes.
That's
Making
right.
the halftime show possible, making the show possible.
Necks and
All that.
Tires for keeping the show rolling as always. And being
Ah,
part of
see what you
the,
did there, Corey.
That, and then also Motegi Racing.
Motegi
the
also
show
will.
also
Yeah.
rolling.
Yep, and then
Keeping Brian's.
right now, Sam's a very, very good time for us. We are actually in a position now. We're opening the doors for new people to come on. Obviously, join the Maximum Driftcast team. We are opening the doors for new partners to come on as we move forward in the 2019 season. So feel free to message us if you guys are interested in being a part of the show on Instagram or Facebook, or you can email us at maximumdriftcast@gmail.com.
Spoiler alert.
But we will be
Spoiler-
opening our doors once again. It happens once a year.
Spoiler
and here's
alert.
the time.
We have Oscar Mayer. Boom, ready.
Locked and loaded.
It's about
Corey
to
and I are going to
happen.
be wearing banana yellow tuxedos, walking around the SEMA floor with briefcases.
And greasy hair.
Just greasy hair, just
Yep.
throwing down our briefcases on top of all the vendors' stands, and be like, "We have an exciting business opportunity for you. Please take a look at our resumes," and then running away.
Well, my briefcase will be filled with like bass flutes. There would be probably some magic cards, like cars that can do magic tricks.
Hot
with,
dogs
not-
and sandwich bags.
Yeah, my mom would pack my lunch for me in there. So when I opened mine, it's like, fuck, I grabbed the wrong briefcase.
What if you like you opened up your briefcase and it's just full of like your deck, you printed out
So,
resumes,
Sam,
and
fun
then your
story.
mom's,
Can I
tell you-
like,
can I tell you
peanut butter
something for real,
and jelly spilled all over your resume?
Hold on, I'll tell you something for real. I do have a briefcase with literally all that stuff in it that I was going to take for SEMA. Actually, so what I did is I got a briefcase from Goodwill because I wanted to go to SEMA with a briefcase. And so when I did open it, I had one of those wooden train horns in it. I had a Gold Bond, like a travel size Gold Bond ball sack powder. I had some socks, some like wool, really thick wool socks in there. I had some marbles. I still have it, and it still has not been touched since SEMA. I didn't use it, so I can bring it. We can really hustle with that thing if we want.
What if it was just full of Dustin Millard's puke from 5 years ago? When
Oh
he,
my god!
The night after we got kicked out of that club,
and he
then
threw up
just
all over the place.
He threw up in the bathroom like 6 times that day.
Yep, I do have a picture of him pretty much naked laying on our bathroom floor. So I still have that. I'll share that with you. Off the air.
That's going to be a Patreon. If you're a $15 subscriber, like Silas, you get nudes of Dustin.
Yeah, laying on the bathroom.
That's our premium Snapchat.
Yeah, that's premium. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for being a part of this year. You guys made the 2018 season as special as anything else. So thank you guys for being a part
And
of
we're
it.
going to keep letting it ride, baby. It's just
just
getting
the
better.
beginning. So thanks again, and we will see you guys next time here on Maximum Driftcast, but actually we'll be in Vegas at SEMA. So long, and see you next Thursday when Sam and I are in SEMA.
Or sometime in the future.
Or sometime.
In the future. Bye.